with phone number, but today we're going to do a fuel system install. It's by Lee. We're going to be installing it on my 2014 Mustang. And it consists of wiring harness, and fittings, as you can see. Then you got the fuel regulator itself by Lee. Then it comes with this gauge in the packaging, instructions, PTFE hoses. Then if we come over here, we can see the actual fuel system itself. So this is actually 2 GT500 fuel pumps. It's a dual fuel system install, and let's get right into it. So first, you're gonna want to come over here and obviously unplug your battery, since you're dealing with fuel, so you don't want to, cut yourself on fire or anything, Then, once you get that unplugged, we're gonna come back here. Then we're gonna go ahead and, can't really see it right now, but you're gonna go ahead and take these rear seats off. They should just pop off and come out. You won't need to take the top off, but you will need to take the bottom off for this. Alright, if you can see down here, it'll be this little tab. You push up on it. Same thing for the other side. Once you do that, go ahead and kind of just manipulate it the way out. Be careful getting your seats out, because you will scratch it on things if you actually care about your car, because, check it out. Anyways, you want to go ahead and pull that out so you can get to the top of your fuel hat, which I'll show you in a second. Alright, so once you go ahead and get your seat off, you're going to come over here and go to this little grommet type thing. All you want to do is go ahead and just pull it up. And excuse how dirty it is, but once you get it up, you will have access to your fuel system. You just want to go ahead and take off this hose, take off this electrical connector, just a push pin. Then you want to go ahead and grab a flathead and a hammer, and you want to spin this ring off. Then your whole fuel system will come out. I also forgot to mention, while you're here, you want to go ahead and vacuum all this stuff out so none of the debris and stuff gets inside your fuel tank and contaminate. God damn, I can't speak. Contaminate your fuel. And want to go ahead and vacuum that out like so. And we'll get to the process of installing it. What you want to do now is go ahead and pull this out, and watch out for your float valve, which is this right here. You want to go ahead and angle that out when you pull it out. Pull it out kind of, crooked. Alright, so when you get the tank in, you just want to kind of set this bitch in gently. Oops, shit. Set this bitch in gently. Then you want to have to twist this tab right around this ring right here. Alright, so back here, when you take this clip off, you want to, the blue wires that come off the Lee actual system itself, you want to tap into this yellow and gray wire. That will prime it when you have ignition on, but you can also cut it into purple and green, which will always constantly prime the fuel pump. Then you want to mount your relays and your fuses. I don't have them quite mounted yet, because I'm going to test if it works. And also on these red wires, I personally ran them and tucked them through the full liner and the wheel well. You run it up through the fender into the battery. Next thing is you want to go ahead and get your fuel regulator mounted with your gauge. I went ahead and mounted it on the strut tower itself. And you want to get this fuel feed adapter on there. You take this screw out from the feed itself, stick it on here and twist it. Then you want to go ahead and get your male-to-male 90 and go ahead and screw that on. Okay, so you'll get your fuel line. Then you want to go ahead and run it under the car all the way. There should be fuel lines. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there. You want to go ahead and zip tie that. Come up to the front. Run it from right down under there over to your regulator. Alright, so after you get your lines ran under the car, you want to come up here and find a place to mount your regulator. Most people put it in front of the strut tower like I did. Some people put it on this side of the firewall, or that side of the firewall in this open gap, but I have this heat shield over it, so I don't want to, cut that up. But once you get the fuel line ran, the one that comes from the pump itself comes under the car to the bottom of the regulator itself. Then the extra line that you have after you cut the regulator to length, you want to put this metal adapter onto the fuel rod itself. All it is you push in this clip right here, pull it off, and there's this little retainer right here, and this, you slide this bolt on first, then you slide this over and screw it in, and it'll tighten itself together and squeeze itself. Also, if you don't know how to put AN fittings on, you unscrew this metal piece from this metal piece. This metal piece right here, you push onto this line as hard as you can. Then you twist this into this and it'll pinch together. Also, this boost reference is coming from the back of the manifold. A little update on the fuel system. The top of the fuel system right here, as you can see, I have this fuel union here with a 3/8 connector to a 3/8 line. The factory fuel feed line right here is actually a 5/16 connector with a 3/8 line. So all you have to do, since Saley didn't supply one, is cut the hose and put some sort of fuel union here. Some people also do barbed lines, but I just cut this 3/8 connector right about here and put the fuel union here and connected them together. Then the same thing with this line. You put your A in, run it under the car, then just replug the factory connectors. Alright, so as for the back of the car with these relays are the ones from the factory fuel system. As you can see here, the instructions weren't too clear on which wire to cut. You can see my multiple mess ups here. So the one wire you do want to cut is this purple and green wire and splice it into these blue wires. That will constantly run your fuel pump and your ignitions on. They said to cut this yellow wire with the silver wire, so when you turn it on, it's like a factory prime, but that did not work in my case. Apparently 13-14 cars are slightly different in cases of the wiring, but you can always check your wiring schematics and see the differences. So your two power wires that you zip tied earlier go all the way to the front. The supplied two gray connectors, you just want to hook it straight up to your battery and splice them here. I just ran it through fender, through a grommet, all the way through the floorboard to the rear. As for one more rundown, fuel regulator, a line that comes in the fuel feed to the bottom. This side of the regulator right here that fuel feed in, you cut the rest of it off that you got from the return line. Route it, I zip tied mine, as you can see, back through here to the actual rail itself. So it'll go rail, line to the side of the regulator, to your return back to the pump, and just keep recirculating. As we can see in here in the top of the fuel hat, this is that return line. So all the extra fuel gets bypassed and thrown back in the pump. This is your fuel feed all the way to your rails. Come back here. Two relays, I just self-tapped them in right here. I'll organize all my trunk later. Remember, purple and green, unless your schematic says elsewise, you can do the yellow and silver wire right there, then your power lines to the front. Overall, it was a pretty simple install. The instructions were very vague on what to do, and Saley didn't quite help me very much. I tried to message them on Facebook and Instagram, but give me a very vague answer on it. But for the fuel union, if they do not supply it, you can just get it from a parts store, and you can get the fuel feed repair kit lines from O'Reilly's, AutoZone, any of the auto parts you have local to you. It's like $20 at most for it. You get about a foot of feed line and the connector itself that you can fit into it. The connector that fits into itself is a 3/8 actual connector instead of a 5/16 factory. I know this video is all over the place, but I at least hope it helps somebody in my case, just like me figuring it out by myself. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope this helped you in some kind of way, and hope y'all have a great day.